Hey, future physicists, sample problem here. If I have vector m at 4.35 newtons at 190 degrees and vector n at 2.85 newtons at 240 degrees, I want to find what the sum of those two vectors is, m plus n. So remember that to do that, we're going to find the components first. That's our first step. So mx, y sine because x is cosine. So I'm going to take 4.35 times the cosine of 190. And to find the y value, I'm going to take 4.35 times the sine of 190. And to do that, I punch it in my calculator. I'm going to get negative 4.28 for my x value. I'm going to get negative 0.755 for my y value. Now, should they both come out to be negative? Yes, they should, because 190 is in the third quadrant. Should the x value be greater than the y value? Absolutely, because 190 is heading more in the x direction than it is heading in the y direction. Do the same thing for n, so I'm going to have n sub x is going to be 2.85 times the cosine of 240, which is negative 1.43. Then n sub y is going to be 2.85 times the sine of 240, and that's going to be negative 2.468. Now remember, because these are both in the x direction, I can literally add them up and just get an x total, which is negative 5.71. Because both of these are in the y direction, I can add those up and get a y total, negative 3.224. Next step then is I need a picture. So I'm not going to draw a picture of the original vectors because as soon as I break them into components, those literally go away and I'm stuck with just the components or just the totals. So what I want to draw is the totals here. I have an x total of 5.71. So here maybe is my 5.71 in the negative x direction. And I have a y of 3.224 in the negative y direction. So it's going to be coming down this way at 3.224. Now, if my components go left and down, then my final resultant has to also go left and down. And that's going to be what I'm looking for there. Now, remember the beautiful thing about components, the x and y totals, is they're at right angles to each other. So this side is also 3.224. This side is also 5.71. But now I can see that this is a right triangle. So to find the value or the magnitude of r, I can do the Pythagorean theorem. 5.71 squared plus 3.224 squared and square root that. And that comes out to be 6.56 newtons. Not done yet though, because I need an angle. So remember that all of our vector angles start at the vector and go all the way back to the origin or back to the zero. Well, I already know that this angle here is 180. So if I can find this angle, theta, and add to 180, then I'll have that total angle. So to find that theta, I'm going to do the inverse tangent of the opposite, 3.224, over the adjacent, 5.71, and that comes out to be 29.5 degrees. Now remember, 29.5 degrees is up in the first quadrant, but we need it in the third quadrant. So we're going to add 180 to that to get 210 degrees. So our final vector answer then would be 6.56 newtons at 210 degrees.